Hi everyone, I hope you've had a wonderful Labor Day weekend and you're ready to get started on school again. This week you're going to be reading about St. Paul and his letters, and you might wonder why the book starts with St. Paul and not with the Gospels, because the New Testament definitely begins with Matthew's Gospel. But it actually makes sense because all of St. Paul's letters were written before any of the Gospels were written. The Gospels are placed first in the New Testament because they tell the story of Jesus. But these letters also give us great insight into the thought process and the way that people viewed the world and women in particular. And also, Paul is an interesting person to look at, especially if all you're looking at are these letters, because it's also important to remember that he's kind of evolving himself as he's writing them, and also every letter is written to a different community, and they all have different things going on in their community that we don't really fully know. So we can't fully know the context behind the letters, why he's saying what he's saying specifically to these women or to these communities about women. And so we have to keep in mind that we just don't fully understand the context. It's also good to realize that some of his passages are what we would call descriptive and some are prescriptive. Descriptive passages simply describe how things were at the time, whereas prescriptive are more prescribing how things should be, his opinion on how the world should be. And this is especially important when we're talking about women because some of Paul's letters have the most sexist comments or could be perceived as the most sexist. So there's always been a lot of debate over whether St. Paul himself was sexist or not. So that's what you're going to be discussing this week, and we'll have, we'll see what you think. Do the reading. Look at some of the passages that are being referenced, and see what you think. Also this week, you're going to take the first quiz. You will have 45 minutes to answer 20 multiple choice questions. I'm going to move the deadline for this down back to midnight that night because of some conflicts that people have. Also, let me look at the class calendar for a moment, but I know you have a research paper coming up. And so the research paper is going to be due, sorry for all the commotion here, on the 23rd of September. But I do want to talk for a moment about the research paper and my expectations. It has to be 4 to 6 pages long. This does not include a